This wipe started weird. I got off the beach, farmed to outpost and crafted a kit when I got there. Then when I was ready to settle in, I moved down towards where I wanted to build, and that's when I heard what sounded like a raid. By the never-ending explosions and the spam in chat, I could tell that a cheater was getting their base removed by the admin. Unfortunately for me, this was happening exactly where I wanted to set up my first base. While I managed to farm up and get down a starter, it wasn't long until the population began to slither their way over to claim some of the cheated loot. The SAR gain was big, but my base was in no state to hold on to it, so I farmed through the last few minutes of daylight to feel somewhat safe. And then I stupidly took a short break, and by the time morning came, my wooden door was gone and I was raided. But that's okay, I guess. I didn't lose much and I was kinda happy to be away from that area when setting up for the wipe. This time I spawned right next to harbour, which was a stroke of luck. I did originally have a plan for this wipe to live life in the tunnels. I wanted to build multiple bases by different entrances to the train network, using these to store and move loot underground. Harbour was my first choice of location for this. With its card room, recycler, train station and low monument tier, I should be able to farm up easily and begin to establish my network from here. After farming up enough resources to place down the starter for my laylow, I weirdly unearthed a hidden stash under my build spot thanks to a wonky TC placement. Literally delivered an entire harbour run right inside my base. After that was sorted, I got to farm in the area and getting introduced to some of the locals. This unfortunately continued to escalate, with every run I made being a bit more painful than the last one.
Are you seriously going to check me for loot? Are you fucking crazy?
This ended with what was actually a really enjoyable sea farming expedition coming to a tough end at the hands of the same group. This group of fully kitted players seemingly never wanted to leave harbour. With this dominant group living in one of the large clan bases nearby and their constant running past my base, progress was pretty much non-existent at this point and I needed to come up with a plan. I decided that it was now or never to make a move elsewhere. As part of the many base plan, I actually wanted to live by one of the non-monument train entrances and there was only one on the map at the time. I decided that living by bandit camp and the ranch would be the move and I could run resources up to my new Lalo base if all goes well. I got to work using the ranch safe zone to my advantage to farm up the wood and stone needed to get my starter down. The area did sound more active, but the immediate danger wasn't anywhere near as bad. Even my neighbour didn't seem too bad after initially door camping me.
You door camping? Why would you door camp? Why would you door camp, man? Come on, man. Out of everything you could be doing, you're just gonna sit there by the door, man. That's not very nice. Yeah, I know, but there's no point, man. I've literally, like, just spawned, started, I'm chilling, I'm vibing, like, I'm no threat to you, man. I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous.
Feeling settled, I decided to make my first run back to my base to collect enough resources to make a crossy and upgrade my base a bit. All went well for a while, although I did notice I'd moved from an area with a few large bases to an area with even bigger bases and an over-the-top Zerg village. Despite this, progress was quicker here than my first location. I was joining the wipe a few days in and therefore I was always going to be outgunned, so the plan had shifted from settling in to getting some guns.
Hey, man, how's it going? You too, man.
I checked the map to see what guns were available and there was actually SARs and customs available for 35 sulfur. I couldn't miss out on this and I bought myself a SAR and a custom. At this time I added a much needed airlock, bunker and roof access to the front of my base. The upgrades went smooth, but low on materials, I went out on a farming trip to top these up. This ended up with me awakening a very ready for combat group of individuals who apparently had been huddled by their front door just waiting to come out.
Okay, fair. What?
I did keep hearing a lot of commotion from my neighbour's base, and at one point I actually bumped into one of them. He was naked at the time, and as a show of good intentions, I gave him a single mushroom. And a tip for any of you that are not looking to constantly fight with your neighbours, giving someone an item, even unimportant, will make them much more likely to remember you in a positive way when you remind them of it later.
Have a good journey, friend. No worries, man.
With the day getting late and progress having been hindered at the start, I thought at this point I would go around the base and apply honeycomb and upgrades to stop it looking like an easy pass-by raid, before finally sealing up the bunker and logging off for the night. Day 2 started early in the day, so I got kitted and enjoyed some fairly safe farming. For me, the goal was to stock the base and then rush to getting kitted up as soon as possible. The Zerg village was very much awake and active, but only really taking shots from their roof and buying an endless supply of minis from bandits.
Helicopter, helicopter.
Helikopter, paracopter.
Have a good flight, guys. See you later.
Paracopter, helicopter.
I got you, buddy. I got you. You had quite the fall there, my friend. You had quite the fall. Any good deals? Any good deals? What you buying? What you buying? What you buying? Thank you so much, man. Thank you, thank you.
Not sure why this stranger gave me a python, but I wasn't going to complain, and I quickly made my way home to depot and eventually learn it. With my chores for the morning dealt with, it was now time to get the guns I've been collecting learned and crafted up. I quickly resolved the issue of needing a tier 2 by buying one from a drone shop for 5k charcoal. I then wanted to check my base down by harbour to see how it was doing today and if the area was still active. I still hadn't learned everything and I wanted to see if I could easily farm the scrap down there and bring it back up. The area was silent, node rich and unlooted. This meant a shift in focus and I got to work farming and hoarding everything in the area and cramming it into my starter. A little bit of effort down here would go a long way to helping me expand up north. Once I felt I had enough, I went back up north, and after not finding a horse on the way, I purchased one from Ranch. I then made the journey to and from my now loaded little starter. After fully feeding the horse and decking it out with shoes, this went without any issues, and right as it began to get dark, I was back home with my large boxes filled with a whole bunch of new resources. I learned everything I needed for a SAR kit and then wanted to begin the grind with a tunnel run. While the scrap game was fine and I could easily recycle at Bandit Camp, after checking out the map I realised there was a far easier way to get scrap. The Zerg village nearby actually had a use. They had 100 fertiliser for sale for 30 scrap. This could then be sold to the vendor at Bandit Camp for triple the price. And this is exactly what I did. I spent the next half an hour selling a stack of fertiliser to the vendor before ending up with a total of 500 scrap.
I'm all done, man. Appreciate it. See you later, mate. You gotta get out of it, man. No, don't chop down that tree. Don't chop down that tree. Leave. Leave, leave, leave.
With all I wanted to learn learned, I headed out to get a blue card from Harbour and a red card from Water Treatment. I took the safe route through Bandit Camp to avoid the village, and I'm glad I did. I really did struggle to find the body, and then Bandit Camp shooting me despite the fact I was in the safe zone made it all so much more stressful than it had to be. But even so, I made it back with my new MP5s. The plan was still to head to Water Treatment and complete the puzzle, so after dropping off the guns I headed straight back out. The trip went well and I even managed to pick up a Tommy on the way. After this, I just wanted to roam about and see if I could come across anyone else. Unfortunately, after doing a fairly large circle around the map, the server was pretty quiet. It wasn't until I got back to Bandit Camp and noticed the village was currently countering a raid. I had absolutely no business getting involved, but with only a custom in hand, I thought F it.
How is he still alive? How is he still alive?
Yeah, I shot a barrel.